You're listening to the Unreasonable Fridays Podcast Network.
Go ahead, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of AddSpace. I'm your host, Aaron Rand Freeman, but with me, the actual host of AddSpace, the CEO, CFO, owner-proprietor, lead artist, social media maven, travel czar, and physical therapist, Elise Bacon. How are you?
I do no traveling now.
But you're still the travel czar. It doesn't matter.
No, I refuse.
You're the travel czar.
You can't make me. I'm not doing it.
Remember when you said you'll be 30 minutes late because you were out getting a haircut? What were you doing?
Existing.
You were coordinating travel with us. Travels are. Congratulations. With us, we have also pause for let me dig this up because I always forget to have the list of titles up. I always forget this. I always forget to have this man's titles up and ready to go, and that is a failure on my part. I own that. I forget every time. I'm like, oh, it's just Jeffrey. By the way, can people call you Jeff?
Yeah, if I know you. I'm glad you asked that because it's so weird to get emails from people and like DMs or whatever if it's like work related. I'm like, why are you being like overly familiar with me? I haven't seen your face. I don't know you. You know, I just find that weird. We don't work together. We're not homies. And immediately you just go straight to the default nickname that's assumed for Jeffrey.
The writer.
You're like, I don't know you.
I am the writer, social commentator, thought leader, observer, activist, creator, game critic, author, and speaker. Jeffrey Rousseau, gentlemen, how are you? Welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm here just to talk about various things as one does with y'all, and I'm glad to be back. And hopefully we can talk about why Brant in Dragon Dogma 2 should be in a black romance. Matter of fact, make that the episode title. All right. Brant should be in a black romance. Make that.
Why is he not romanceable?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't think the developers gave it thought because I think the only two romanceable people are two white women. I don't mean to say that dismissively. It's great that you can do that.
Oh no.
I'm just saying.
There's lots of characters that are romanceable, but only two ladies have romance scenes.
Oh, okay.
But there are more characters who are romanceable. I have gotten this. I found this out specifically from my homie, who is a delightful mess, and my partner in romance crime.
So there are like brown people you can romance, yes?
I don't know I don't know who's romanceable.
Okay.
But I do know that only the two girls have the scenes. Because she romanced the elf.
Oh, okay.
He
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he blushes.
He's pretty pale. He
blushes.
Yeah.
She was very upset you could not romance Brant. She's just like, let me have him. It was very funny.
Yeah, that is a very handsome man.
He is a very handsome, well voice acted man.
Yeah.
He says all the right things. Like I'm not even far into the game, and I'm just like, but why? He's right there.
Yeah.
Capcom, please.
Well, they have a survey. They have a survey going on. I don't know when it closes. I think at the end of April or something like that. Like if you play the game up to a certain point, you can get feedback because I know they're thinking about like DLC and stuff like that and extra whatever. So maybe that's one of the things they'll consider. Who knows?
Oh no, trust me. I saw the survey. I saw her response to it, and I'm just like, ma'am.
That's funny.
I love her so much. She's so funny.
That's funny.
She was definitely asking for brand. She was also asking for a lot of ridiculous stuff.
Is it Wayne Gordon? His voice actor's name is Wayne Gordon.
Yeah, that's a handsome person. Yes. Like you should like go to the IMDb of Dragon's Dogma 2 and look him up, and it's like, oh, this is a handsome character voiced by a handsome person. Of course,
so handsome.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, okay.
You ever like, I like people's faces, so I like a lot of different faces, but it's always very striking to me when someone is classically attractive and in the very basic burger and fries kind of way, but like a really artisan burger with like fresh fries, you know what I mean? And it's like, he's handsome in a way where I would have to look at his face I would have to stare at his face for a little bit real close. I'd be like, all right, just give me a second just to process this. Cause this is like, you're just a bacon and egg sandwich of a face. I love it, but it's just so, and I'm not used to seeing someone's face look so square in the jaw and so perfectly round in the skull. Yeah, it's almost like if you if you hit default when you were creating a character in Dragon's Dogma, if you made a black man. So yes, it's yes, but
yeah,
Dragon's Dogma has a lot of brown people in it.
Yep, it sure does.
You can make unambiguously black and brown people in it.
That is true. That is factually true.
Have the bigots created a whitening mod like they did in a Baldur's Gate?
I mean, the thing about that game is there's like, there would be no real purpose for that, because the thing is, as that world exists, it's just like, no, there's just all these different kinds of people. You'll be in one cutscene where there's like a brown person, and then the next cutscene or quest you're doing, like the lead person you're talking to might be East Asian, or they look like a white European person or whatever. It's like, no, there's no real purpose for that. It's just like Dragon's Dogma 2, which, by the way, I will say, compared to the first game, and now I think I just hit level 30. I'm kind of at the point where, all right, I'm gonna relax until they roll out the patches or whatever. But it feels very much like a game that in the 12 years in between their releases, and I think Dragon's Dogma 2 took like 5 years to develop, it feels very much like a post that was that Capcom at that time. And this is the Capcom that since then made like Monster Hunter, Street Fighter, and they really made an improvement with like avatar creation and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
No, this is the best character builder I've seen, like in a period.
It was Wolong's. Yeah. Wolong's was first, and then this leapfrog Wolong's, which is a substantial jump.
Yeah, Wolong was really
had a very strong character creator.
Yeah, it's right now. It's kind of when you sit and you really think about it, it is Capcom and Koei Tecmo, Team Ninja, whatever. Mm-hmm. When you think about that, right? It's those two companies specifically, and the last games they rolled out in the last 5-6 years. And hey, Bacon's character, Bacon can explain. Bacon's character, the thing I like about the game is just like, people have real bodies, whether you could be short or tall. And I have my Risen, where like she's like she looked like she would play for like I don't know, the Liberty in the WNBA. And it's so funny. It's like sometimes I don't even think about her height, because when she's like standing next to someone like Brent, who's just like a tall, handsome man, it's just like, oh, okay. But like when you do quests, when you kind of have to escort people and you carry them, I'm like, wow, she is taller than everybody by default. Oh my God, it is hilarious. But
Mine's like the same height as everybody, which is perfect because I'm average height. I'm actually a little above average.
I made my thief. I was trying to scale it, make my thief a little bit shorter than everybody, but I made her about 2 inches too tall and also very strong. So when they gave me the spine buster option, when I first started playing, to pick people up and throw them up against walls, and with incredible velocity, by the way. What the fuck? But yeah, but it's still beautiful. And then yes, and then one of my pawns is about a 7'5" mage black lady. She's got to be 7'5" because my character's not short, and she is several heads over me. She is several heads bigger than me. I love it.
I know there's like some discourse about like people are annoyed with like how often the pawns speak and stuff like that. And yeah, I get it because they could be quite chattery, and you can definitely like just go to the options like, yeah, maybe not talk so much. But the thing is, as you play it, you can really appreciate it. It's like they got different voice actors. I really want to know the voice actor for the one that I chose. I feel like this is a Black British voice actress. I haven't checked the IMDb page. I don't know if this person has tweeted it, but I feel like I heard that voice from somewhere. I can't put my finger on it. I digress.
I really love the level of customization in the bodies.
Mhm.
Yes.
This is like one of my first times where I can play a game and I'm not like having my weight related dysphoria and dysmorphia triggered because my character has the same body as I do. And I was able to make it like that. I don't got like a standard stock body either. So it was, and I know I did it right because like I sent it to Aaron and Aaron was just like, I miss you so much.
It really, you did. It did. It looked like you the last time. Like you were telling me that you don't look like that now. I haven't seen you in years, but you tell me you don't look like that now. But it did look like you the last time I saw you. And I was just like, as I was like, it was a rush of emotion. I was like, and also I've never seen a game. I will freely admit I've never seen a game that let the character look like Bacon specifically.
Right.
I have never.
Yeah, it's like I don't like bringing it up a lot because there is colorism. Like colorism is a thing, but like when it comes to making like skin tones, they just do like 3 shades of dark brown or like medium brown. Like it's one of the two. It's never both.
Right.
And then like they don't ever actually do the array of black and browns that there are. Like it doesn't show the full array of like brown skin. So like I have never been able to create anything close to my skin tone before.
Right.
But I don't really like bringing it up because like again like colorism, like there's people way darker than me who have like so many issues.
Yeah. No, but that's real though. It's just like not a lot of games can say we are able to allow you to. We have the technology where like you can select your skin tone, but also very few can say, but you can do that, and also it matches your undertones as well.
Right, you can select your undertone, and that was the wild part to me because, like, so I have a greenish undertone, and they even have that like kind of in between, like green and yellow undertone, and that's where I sit, and so like I'm just never able to like. They always do red for my skin, and I'm not red.
Yeah.
Despite what my webcam may show, I'm not actually red.
That is a specific kind of reference that only a few people understand.
That is only a specific reference that people understand. I hate it here.
Oh my god. No, but like, no, Bacon is right though. It's like, I mean, I have to applaud it to Capcom because again, this is a very modern game where like you can have people be different body shapes, just look like average people. You can be large, and that's doesn't affect your character's ability to do anything. Because realistically, why would it anyway? Because whatever, people have different body shapes and they do kind of all different kind of jobs or whatever. So it all checks out. And what I really liked was that
Listen, my back hurts every time my character picks up one of them giant rocks because I've picked up them giant rocks and I'm like, whoo, I remember that.
oh my god.
Sorry, continue. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. But yeah. It's the thing that this game definitely should get applauded on. It is definitely that character creator, because one of the things I saw that some people like, oh well, the graphics aren't that good for the game or what have you. But considering what it's doing,
wait.
No, that's not.
Wait,
well, that's not.
What?
So there was a specific complaint about the way the game looks, but the actual you mean technically? Because artistically, it's magnificent.
Well, artistically, yeah, it's fine. Like I saw a few criticisms, like, it could look better, and I'm like, look at what it's doing.
Right.
I have to state that this game looks gorgeous. Like, period. The only reason it would not look okay is because of it's very resource intensive, and if your machine can't keep up with the resource intensity, it's going to affect it graphically.
Yeah.
But I'm playing this bad boy on my laptop, which can handle it better than my desktop. And I'm on medium, I'm a combination of high and medium power settings. This game is fucking gorgeous, especially for an open world, because a lot of open world games, because they're so massive, really scale back on the detail. But they put there's so much detail in the buildings, the architecture, the scenery, the NPCs are so detailed. I'm going through this and I'm remember back in the day when we were talking about realistic games, games looking realistic. I think this was actually the goal. What we have here. Because you see a lot of games are we're going for realism and it still looks I'm this looks real goofy.
Uncanny Valley, right?
Uncanny Valley, but this doesn't have that same uncanny valley. Now, is it still absolutely looks like a video game? Yes, 100%. But the detail is astounding, especially for such a massive open world game. I'm like, does the game look bad, or are your or is it just too intensive for your settings? Those are two different things. Now, is that a valid complaint? Should this game be that intensive? That's a why are we making games that we don't have the technology for? That everyday people don't have the tech for? That's a different question.
That is that is a whole discussion about I don't know whether it was a supply chain COVID issue, but at some point we decided to go full bore on technology that would choke our consoles and PCs to death. But that's neither here nor there.
While they were new, and so that's the part that gets me. Almost all of these systems are new, and we're choking them out already.
Right, and we live in a world where you'll have developers will use proprietary systems, engines like Alan Wake, for example. They use the remnant. I forgot it's called Light something they use. And Alan Wake 2, for example, looks superb and runs fine. And then the rest of people are using Unreal Engine 5 and then absolutely choking our consoles to death. And again, this is an aside. Please continue talking about Dragon's Dogma. We'll return to this.
So, and the thing about the game, now, I'll be the first person to tell you, medieval theme stuff do nothing for me. It does nothing for me. It's left my body now. It's wow, no. The reason why I like playing Dragon's Dogma 2 is just that it's an exception to the rule where it's just, I don't necessarily play it because I find worlds like that interesting. It's no. I like playing it because it gives you all these options to do things. Your vocation, quests, you even have repercussions of if you don't finish quests in a certain time limit and stuff like that, and just things where your class is fighting, even though you have all these options when you fight, that feels sloppy too. And that's on purpose because it's supposed to be like chaotic stuff like that. Someone's casting magic, but you might have someone like impale someone up against the wall, and then your archers like firing arrows into them and stuff like that. Like all that stuff to me is interesting because it's just like you could be out there, you're just running along. Oh, there's an ogre, just randomly shows up, or a griffin, or a dragon, or whatever, and that stuff is interesting because it's like you can literally just be lollygagging. You're like, okay, let me just do this one quest, whatever. Your people are running along, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, it's an ogre. I guess we'll fight it. You know, or there was one time I was leaving the first city. It's just like that field, that farmer place where the folks work. I almost say comic folk, and that feels weird to say, even though the game designates places like, oh, you're in a common quarters. Here's the farm, blah blah blah. Anyway, whatever. I saw a griffin there, and I thought to myself, I don't think we're strong enough to fight that, so we're all gonna gather here and run away from its line of sight, and that works. I'm glad that works. Because if someone sees you while they're flying up above and you can hear it, if you can hear it and you feel your controller vibrate, that means they're about to descend. And that's not good what's going to happen, follow, depending upon your level.
I fought that motherfucker.
Wow.
You think I was gonna let this little old griffin absolutely the fuck not? Do you know how many extra dudes there are around you? I chased that bitch off. That griffin went downfield, all the way downfield to go attack the oxen downfield. And I was just like, that's right, you go over there away from the people.
Wow. Yeah, stuff like that. Oh, what was the wildest thing I saw? I was I think I was on Twitter. Someone was just like, "Oh, how's you playing Dragon's Dogma going?" And then it was a clip of them where they were in an ox cart. It looks like they were dozing off. They got out. They were fighting. All of a sudden, a dragon just landed and destroyed that and killed the ox. And I was just, that happens. It's hilarious. It happens. Like you literally be like on an ox cart or whatever. It's just like, oh, here's these people attacking. All of a sudden, an ogre or a cyclops just comes out of nowhere and is just like wrecking the neighborhood. And you're like, sure. You know, what I really think people who are interested in that kind of thing is just that the game offers you this chaotic stuff and you can get lost in it. I remember I found a cave that just like not magically, but it just inadvertently like connects to the first main city and in a unique way. And I was just like, oh, okay. I was just going in there fighting people. And it's so hilarious. When you fight other humans, sometimes your pawn is just like people, depending upon their demeanor, they'll say something to the effect of, well, people have their different reasons for fighting, whatever, but I guess we just have to fight you. And it's just like, they jumped us. Or in most cases, me, I run up and I drop kick somebody, and then as I'm falling back, I just shoot an arrow in their head. That's another thing too. I like how the classes have skills that really make sense. Like when you're a caster or if you're a sorcerer, if you're next to a mage who's casting and you I forget what core skill it is, but like you both can help each other like cast faster because the sorcerer has a skill, whatever. And that makes sense. You know, stuff like that. And so like being an archer, I remember I got all this stuff for like movement. So like you can slide into like a firing motion, or you can do the thing where like you're running and you at first it's like a jump kick and you just jump kick off somebody, and as you're falling you can fire an arrow and stuff like that. And all that stuff makes sense. It's like utility stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's fun. It's just I don't know. But Bacon, but please tell me, have you ran into any what just happened? What is this as you were playing?
Oh, like immediately. Like immediately. Like so okay, you know, once you get to that first village, there's like a dude, and after some quests, they're like, so you want to come come with us. There's a wagon cart, etc. You can come with us on the cart, or we'll meet you at the Capitol, right? I was like, no, because I don't want to miss stuff on the way. So I got like I almost immediately came across a Cyclops. And this is just on the main path, by the way. Like, I wasn't veering.
Right.
I almost immediately came across a Cyclops. And then I came across, not much later, a troll. And then I found a cave with saurians.
Mm.
And then I found another troll in that cave, but I managed to just like mosey my way out before getting noticed. I went from level 5 to level 12.
Wow.
On the main route to the Capitol, just vibing. So I was not like, I mean, I was expecting like you know, the narrative troll the narrative Cyclops that you come across. I was expecting that. The Harpies, I was like, no, these are common enemies. That makes sense. Was I expecting to almost immediately come across a Cyclops on the road? Did I anticipate spending 30 to 45 minutes at level 7 fighting a troll? No. I'm a little pissed at how the troll died, but also that bitch deserved it. But I'm sad because loot. My pawn was basically riding the troll and was able to direct it towards the river. And it had very little health left, and it teetered over somehow. I don't know how my pawn lived. My pawn like launched off just in time, and it teetered off, and it went into the water with a blah 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 blah. And then a harpy came up, picked one of my other pawn buddies, and carried him off also to the brine.
What the fuck?
That was pretty funny. That's when I found out that harpies can pick you up and drop you in the water, and that they do. But I'm also an archer, so I feel less intimidated by harpies.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I am far behind the both of you. So all of
No,
these are terrifying.
I'm not far, Aaron. That's just it. I'm still in the very beginning.
Yeah. I'm like
I think you're actually farther than me, Aaron.
I just hit level 30 and I just reached the second city, but everything Bacon said just happens. Even I have like, I'll tell you what is this, but that happened early when I played the game. But Aaron, what's yours? What is this?
I have barely been able to get into it. So I will have to return to that. That's why I'm intently listening right now.
Okay.
I'm barely getting it. So please.
Okay, so for me early on, I was like I had to be like level 10 or 11. There was a quest, and this is like, oh, find XYZ and I wasn't finding it. And again, you never know which quests are like are very time sensitive, whether or not it depends on whether or not a person will ever die. Anyway, that's the fun of the part of the game. You kind of just find out. Anyway, so I noticed that I didn't realize I kept camping in like the same general area because I was just fighting monsters, leveling up or whatever. And I'm just like, whatever. And one night, me and my party just like go to sleep. And then in the middle of the night, we get ambushed by like goblins and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, that's regular, whatever. We fight them. And then I noticed, like in the distance, I see like some weird purple light. And I'm like, what in the hell is that? Right? So rather than doing the same thing, I'm like, maybe I should go back. I ran towards it. That's how I found out necromancers are in this game. because I
Yep.
saw skeletons rising up, and then I was just like, "Oh, sweet Jesus!"
Yep.
So what happened was at that point is just I realized as I'm fighting, I'm thinking, "Oh, this was a very poor decision because I'm barely damaging the skeletons and the necromancer as I'm firing arrows into them, barely feel anything." So needless to say, I died like 3 times, and then I told myself, you know what? On the third wipe, I would run. But the thing is, if you're in the general area and there's a monster, whatever, they're still going to detect and see you, right? So I didn't think about that. I just said we gotta go, and we're running. We're running all the way back to like the city, what have you. But then something told me monsters follow you, right? So I'm running, and then something told me maybe you should turn the camera around. Sure enough, I do that, and I was pretty close to the city. Sure enough, I do that. I see these skeletons are following me, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should fight you out here in the field and not bring you all back home with me.
Okay, yeah, that was. I'll freely admit I did get up to that point where I learned that monsters follow you.
Right.
I was fucking around before the first city, and I was killing a lot of goblins. And again, I haven't gotten far in the game, but I think my second time I went and rested in the inn, I came out and there was a troll in the city swinging. There's a cyclops swinging, and I was just swinging a club around, and I was just like, oh, I think I might have created the circumstances for this cyclops because I was farming out there. I was picking plants, berries, fighting monsters, and I didn't realize that. I was like, oh, I see. This is just a trail of meat and fruit right to my door. Yeah. Sorry guys.
Monsters will occasionally attack in front of the city just randomly. Like there are times where like ran outside and it's just like wolves. I'm like, okay, wolves make sense. And then there was other time where it was goblins. I'm like, how did they pass the guards? I don't know, but okay. And that one was funny because like someone was cowering, it's just like, oh, I had enough of this. And I was just like, where you gonna go? You gonna go outside? Because it's just like orcs literally half a mile down there. But sure, you do that, right? What got me? There was one time I turned a corner, and then Saurians tried to jump me. I'm like, that's when I asked myself, how? There's no underwater stuff in the city. How did y'all slip past by all these people and jump me as soon as I leave the inn? But I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. As I'm fighting him, I realized maybe it might have been a game bug or whatever, but NPCs literally walked past by us as we were battling. And I was just like, this is a good thing because people would have got hurt. So, yeah. The thing I really try not to do is where like I just was able to defeat the Griffin because I almost did it before because I had to hit. Oh, wait. I almost forgot my revenge story. So that thing I just mentioned about like, what is this? I was just like, okay, well, that sucked. It's like, I learned a lesson here. It's just, probably don't go out at night. So after I hit level 25, I was doing another quest. And then it's just like, oh, well, you got to find these things from these enemies at night. I was just like, okay, going at night kind of sucks. And then I was just like, wait a minute. I'm more than twice the level I was last time I got jumped. And then I was just like, you know what? Let's just go back to that spot and see what happens. Sure enough, the necromancer was still there. But this time, I had something for its ass. My mage, my main pawn, I remember like I had to learn everything, including holy magic, right? And I was just, I got something for your ass. And sure enough, we were in there. That fight lasted maybe under like 4 or 5 minutes, whatever. And we beat the necromancer. And I was just like, yay, that felt great. Woo. And then I thought, revenge tours are necessary in this game.
I just found out your pawn can catch you when you fall.
Yes.
I may or may not be breaking into rich people's houses from their roofs, and I made a I slipped a little bit. My pawn was below and just caught my ass. Now there's no like that pawn has to be ridiculous. My character is not small. So I'm just like, ooh, look at you with your skinny little arms catching me. My pawn I made like more lean, definitely muscular, but lean muscle because I was like, you're gonna be a thief with the stabby stabs. So you're gonna be lean muscle, and so they're catching my little thicky character falling from a roof.
No, but it's
True
cool.
friendship there.
Yeah, it's cool when they do that because yeah, sometimes you forget. It's like, oh no, I'm gonna slip, and then it's just like, oh, I got you. And it's like, oh, thank you. Oh, Jesus.
Okay, listen, that belly flop when you miss when you jump from too high and you just belly flop like onto the ground is mad embarrassing. I'm just like, I'm sitting there like I get up because like I feel so immersed in this game. Like this is immersion for you. I get up in the game and I literally have my character look left and right and be like, nobody saw that. It's fine. You saw nothing.
When you're more than 5 feet in the air, I don't know why you fall like that. Why? Because no, think about it. You're like, why would a person do this? Why would they fall forward like that?
It's a punishment. That's why.
Oh my God, Jesus! There was one time. I think I damn near died where I did this thing and it's like. I put too much ship in my dip, right? So the thing is, it's like I was doing a thing where like I'm just running into people and I'm like, because when you're running into people and then you do a drop kick and the thing is like you're falling back and I wasn't paying attention to where I was falling back from and I was gonna fall and I was just like, oh no, no. It's like, and I was just like, why do you fall like that? Why is there nothing that hosts?
Punishment. No, I'm 100% positive it's punishment. Like they're like, here you go for missing your jump, some secondhand embarrassment, and some health reduction.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. I'm glad you mentioned that. The thing I understand why like we get punished where if we keep getting like fatal hits and we're almost dying. And I don't know if either of you've noticed, but like if you receive a fatal blow, it doesn't matter like however much HP you have like 1 to 2 seconds to open up your menu and just heal yourself. Because I always kept wondering when I kept dying, it's like, why am I staggering like that? Whatever. That's the game like giving you option. Hey, you can press start and you can heal yourself even though you're about to die. And but more to the point, every time you keep losing, you get HP reductions. And I saw the worst of that today, where I literally had a fourth.
I want to talk about that troll fight.
You know, it's wow.
I want to talk about that troll fight.
Always, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That troll fight was scary.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was this much of my health. I'm like literally, you know what the health bar looks like. It was this much.
Yeah.
It was this much. Nothing I could do. And that was before I understood about like the health reduction. I was like, why are my potions not working?
Right. And that's why you always got to carry like at least 1 or 2 camping kits. They don't necessarily have to be on you. You could give it to your pawns because the thing is they're kind of heavy. You don't want your character to be heavy, otherwise they can't go into a full sprint. But it's like,
it's okay. I can't go into a real full sprint in real life. It's fine. I'm just looking at my character with sympathy, and I'm like, yep, nope, that's me.
But yeah, you should have a camping site because the thing is, those count, especially if you're like going to like a town that's however far away. You don't know how long it is. Just like, yeah, maybe we should rest up. Yeah, you should to get your HP back to full and do what you got to do. You know. But yeah, the game is so funny. 2 times I pulled my weapon out when I was in the town, and I did that by accident. And the speed in which the guards are just like, "What's this?" and they pull out their swords and they're just waiting for you to do anything else. It's like, "Whoa, I hit the button by accident. I'm gonna sheath that back. Y'all can just ease up.
Nothing happened here, officer. Nothing happened.
You can ease up here." The funniest thing that I've seen playing the game, I was in a quarter of the first town, and for whatever reason, I saw NPCs fist fighting. There was no story reason. It was just very random. I do not know why it happened, and I'm like, okay, this is like disorderly conduct. I don't like this, and I grabbed one of them in hoping that it would stop the other person. But as I did that, the other person was literally kicking them in the face, and I was just like, you know what? Y'all both in timeout. So I grabbed the other person and I just threw to both of them. And eventually they just stopped without killing each other. It's like, cool, I don't need to revive people because I don't know if any one of you are going to give me a quest or not, but this is weird. Like, cut it out. You know?
Yeah, no, people be having full conversations or just breaking out in fights randomly.
So I have a question then.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is the best open world you've ever been in?
It's up there for me.
So they are like I'll say this is like, so some people always bring up like Grand Theft Auto historically, but I think Grand Theft Auto has an open world that isn't random, it's lifelike, and lifelike isn't fun. And then you have games like, I don't know if you remember like Prototype.
Well, I don't consider Grand Theft Auto open world. I consider it a sandbox,
Right.
which is different. Oh my God, there's a troll.
Bacon, please stay with us. The
Sorry, it came out of the ground.
I understand. It wouldn't have been there if you were with us. It wouldn't have come out of the ground. Please stay with us. The that's what I mean. Is I'm wondering because like the way Dragon's Dogma frames its open world and like genuinely profoundly random things happen in a way that is organic. Like, is it the best one? I'll say this because I don't play a lot of open world games.
Well, so I think there's a difference between open world and sandbox, and Grand Theft Auto is a sandbox.
What's the difference? Tell listeners, we got people who want to know.
1 second.
Pause the game.
So open world games let you just like explore without any limitations whatsoever. Like it's not just like you can just go out and do the things. Like I said, it's usually again random events. Sandbox games keeps you basically in a box. Like you are in a city. You are doing things within a city. You can do whatever you want within that city, but it keeps you very closed off. The exploration isn't the main focus. And there's not like sandboxes are pretty like flexible, but they're much more contained. Open worlds are much less contained. And GTA is a very well done sandbox. The Spider-Man games are sandbox games.
So that's the thing, right? So, okay, I actually do not disagree because you don't have as much random things happening in GTA, the last GTA single-player game. In fact, all of the random things have been reserved for people's behavior online, but the actual GTA games, as it sits, is not. So I'm wondering, so we have Dragon's Dogma in terms of player engagement and involvement and immersion. I realize the way you guys talk about it, there aren't many games that are like this.
They're just not it's really hard to do them well.
Right.
They're extremely graphic like they're extremely intensive. And then you have like kind of hybrid models. You have like hybrid open world. Like I would consider Dragon Age Inquisition a hybrid because you basically have like different sandboxes that you travel in between and go to, but they're fucking massive, if that makes sense. and there are random events that just happen all the time. But like the newer Assassin's Creed games, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, those are all open world games. The Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild are also open world games. I'm trying to think of other more recent examples. And then, there's varieties of the genre. Skyrim is like clearly, obviously one, as well as like Fallout, the Bethesda games.
Okay.
Starfield is a space explorer.
Okay, so being able to go anywhere you want and encounter actual game design encounters and things, as opposed to being able to go somewhere and an open world game is being able to travel anywhere, and the sandbox game actually has things in it, is what you're saying.
If you think about it, if you think about it this way, what is a sandbox? Like actually, like an actual real life sandbox.
It is a space filled with manipulatable material.
Right. Yeah. But it's a contained space. You put the people, the children, the small people in it, and they do small children things in this specific quarantine closed off like space. All of the mischief happens in that box.
Oh, so then Dragon's Dogma is a sandbox game and a very good one. Is what you're saying?
It's very open world. It again, like sandbox games, usually one location. There's stuff you can do in that one location, but it's just a one place. So that's why I said like GTA. What was it like in the? That's why they have it in the different cities. The Spider-Man games, always just New York, really badly done New York.
Hey, that Spider-Man game they got in New York relatively good for they did.
I mean, the most recent one, yeah, but let's look at the history of Spider-Man games.
Listen.
To answer your question, I'm sorry, Bacon.
With open world games, the world kind of opens to you, like it rolls out as you explore it. Like it's still, of course, like contained, but the box is like way bigger.
What I was going to add to that is that I personally can't really answer that question because I don't really play those kind of games. I'm not really interested. But in terms of more, when I view that question, because of obviously my job, when I think about more recent examples, like who has done that successfully, and what kind of company is able to put the kind of like budget behind that kind of thing to make something. I don't like to use the word comparable, but for like Dragon's Dogma 2, it's like the only most recent example of an open world game that had a lot of power behind it, that a lot of people played, and blah, blah, blah. It's like Tears of the Kingdom. So I don't know, because the thing is, they're still not the same. One is very much a game where you can go off and do all these wacky things out in this world. The other one is like, you can very much like run all over this world that's hilariously blocked off. It's like, well, I say worlds, it's obviously more like a continent, but anyway, whatever. You know how RPGs do. So you have all these quests and what have you. And what I think about is like, whom is able to give you a game with like all these things and put more than 5 years of development into it to be able to do that is what I think about when you ask that question. And it's like, what comes to my mind immediately is like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and then there's Dragon's Dogma 2, because very few games, like within the last couple of years, in the span of, 3-4 years or what have you, I think about technically who's able to do that now. That's immediately what comes to my mind. because when you play this game, that's a big ass budget, and it just hit like however million, like 2.5 million copies, and I'm sure it's gonna keep selling more or whatever. There's a lot of stuff in there, like Bacon said, and I have to go because I have a heart out. Like I have to go, but the last thing I will say, the thing about the game, and I understand why people tend to hyper focus on AAA games, especially one like this one, is just that people like the fact that you can spend hours like doing nothing. I put that in air quotes because you're not on the main quest. You're literally just doing the thing of like unlocking this class or learning a character skill or just doing the quest that has you beating up bad people or hurting the populace. You know, I think Dragon's Dogma 2 does a really good job with that. And last thing I'll go before I say, Brant is very handsome. I love me a beard that is connected, a nice fade, and a shape up. A very handsome mahogany man. Thank you. All right, that's my time. I gotta go.
Vote for Brant.
We stand Brant in this establishment.
We sent Brant. All right, I'm out. That's my time. I love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye, Jeff.
I will say it does look like there is a little bit of a definition change on sandboxes. So sandbox they've has been swapped to free roam, I guess, and sandboxes are more like Minecraft, where you create everything.
Right. That's why I was thinking about, because I feel like definitions have shifted.
Yeah, they shifted a little bit, but
we've swept.
That's because everybody's trying to encapsulate things.
Yeah, we sweep. We use less words for more things as opposed to more words for more things. It's just kind of the way. It's kind of the way we are. We're kind of trending as language wielders. And
listen, you said words, and I barely got it.
What?
No, I mean, it was like, speaking of words, you said words.
Do you not?
No, I get what you're saying.
Oh, okay. Thank God. I was worried it was a technical issue. Okay, I was worried my literal microphone was not being heard. No. Oh, yes, no. Okay, yes, I was just confused. Yes, that's fine. I'll confuse you as long as you can hear it and be confused, as opposed to not know what I said and.
Yeah, no. I can hear you and be confused.
Right. Okay, cool. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, that's why I was asking, because you're right, but I realize we have now swept more genres under the open world thing, and now sandbox has now come to mean Roblox and other things, other games like that, where you are literally things and tearing them down. Speaking of, by the way, have you ever played the game Teardown? You ever hear of the game Teardown?
I have not.
So Teardown is a Minecraft. It's on sale. Like I was just like, it just came to mind. It's on sale, and it is a Minecraft mod where you're tasked with getting into a building however you can using tools around you. So like punch holes in the wall, blow things up, drive cars into stuff. Just generally set up. It's a rather robust physics model, and that is very much a sandbox game, like by definition. Like they literally drop you down there with a bunch of assets, and they're like, all right, we need you to get into this room and open this chest. And yeah, it's actually pretty fun. I think you might actually like it. But there is a list of games that you might actually like.
There's so many games. March is the worst time of year for me.
I realize that if you don't adhere to the AAA game release schedule, there is a chunk of the year where all the games that were terrified of Call of Duty release, they all emerge from the cave between February and April. They all emerge all at once. And it's like,
okay, so that's the thing. So everybody is always bitching about like September or like the fall game release, and I've never been concerned about that. That has never been where I've at, because like it's not that I ignore AAA games. It's just like a lot of them don't have what I'm looking for in a game, because I'm very much about like the experience, not like.
To be clear,
like
I'm willing
graphics or a lot of stuff.
I'm willing to argue that there aren't a lot of AAA games that a lot of people like, but we don't know how to shop for anything else. It's one of the reasons why there's such discontent, is because out of all the AAA games that come out over the course of a year, and I believe an average gamer might like 2 of them, if they're not like buying what they are prescribed to buy, like just in a vacuum. If you were just in like a food court where you were just sampling all the games without being told to buy them, you would like 2 of them out of like the 14 or 16 that come out every year. And when you see that and you are told to buy 10 of them, you buy 5 of them, you like 2 of them, but you've spent $500. You get a little ornery. And it's just like, I understand the demeanor, but like if you don't, and all these other games come out and they is an avalanche of indie games and AA titles. And if you are like Bacon and other people tell you to play games on top of the games you've already played, and then people will hand you games, and then somebody will actually, hey, Bacon, play this game. Here's a gift card. Here's a digital code. Download the game now. Get on now. Hey, Bacon, get on right now.
This is literally how I ended up with Helldivers 2 and Enshrouded.
Yes, get on the game. It's good that you're on Helldivers, because I was wondering whether we could talk about Helldivers on the podcast.
Okay, yes. First off, we can talk about Helldivers 2. Also, it wasn't a troll, it was a Minotaur, and I don't know where it came from because this is the first time I've ever seen a Minotaur. And it literally came out of the ground.
I mean, it's his ground. You should have known.
In the middle of the capital.
Yes, that's where he lives.
I guess.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. One of my friends bought me Helldivers 2 on the condition that I play Helldivers 2 with him, which, of course, another person has been trying to get me to play Helldivers 2 since it came out, and has been sending me literal propaganda of the game. Trying to explain that to people is really funny. They're like, what do you mean they're sending you propaganda? And I'm like, no, they're actually sending me, like, there's a whole section of TikTok and Reddit that is just Helldivers 2 propaganda.
Yes.
Like fan art and like made videos specifically for Helldivers. Yes. And he was just like relentlessly sending me that, and I'm like, bitch, I have no money.
Did you see the daily Helldivers news from the Warfront TikTok?
Oh my god, yes, I have seen.
Yeah,
I have seen that. But yeah, Helldivers 2 is actually specifically my brand of humor. I have been accused of imitating some of the stuff a little too well.
It's so funny that it's so tongue-in-cheek that it makes people who are aware and anti-fascist be like, all right, so this is so tongue-in-cheek perfect satire that I will join in on your faux fascism because lol, and this is good job, guys. And it's just very funny. That's why I was like, should I talk about it on the show? Because I'm like, is this fascism? Like the fact that you were like, this is funny to me was I was like, oh good, we can talk about how. Because I was like, am I laughing at Nazi symbolism? Is this funny? Are they nailing it? Is something wrong with me? Because it feels like Starship Troopers, which also nailed it. So
yes, it is exactly Starship Troopers. The issue is that there's some major media literacy failures, which I have both found simultaneously hilarious and concerning. But that's just how my brain works.
What happened?
Oh no, people think it's real and serious.
Yes, that's one of the reasons why I had to give pause, was because I didn't know whether the people who didn't get it were ruining it for someone who did, because like there are a lot of folks who do not get it, and there are just as many folks who do, and the collisions are substantial.
How do I put this? We are in a. This isn't unique to right now. This is something that happens often, but where people will, if the creator told them, this is what this means, this is what I meant by it, that person is so in their beliefs that they will turn around and say, no, you're wrong. This is what you meant.
Yeah.
And like that's the level that some of these folks are going. Like they're literally saying like the creator of Starship Troopers is wrong, and that Starship Troopers is actually serious.
That is actually what happened with RoboCop. The first RoboCop was satire, and then by the time the third one came around, the dude who directed it did not realize, did not realize it was satire, and that's why RoboCop 3 was so bad, because he was playing it serious when the whole point of it is hard satire. And, it's RoboCop but worse. Yeah.
Because again, these are the people, like, these people are literally saying that like Starship Troopers is actually is serious, despite what the creators have said.
Right.
And so, and it's like, there's nothing as a creator you can do about that. Like, there's definitely some degree of responsibility that a creator has over their messaging.
Right.
But when somebody is telling you that the messaging you're saying is not the messaging you're saying, and there's definitely times when like the creator actually is wrong about their message, because ism, like they'll be like, no, this isn't racism, this is like diverse, and it's just like, well, actually, while your intention was there, this is what the outcome was, and this is why it shows you have a misunderstanding of things. That's not the case here. It is very... Helldivers 2 could not be more tongue-in-cheek.
Yes.
Literally could not be. It is 100% commentary. The fact that the default voice is set to random to show that you are a different person every time you die and you're just cannon fodder.
I prefer that I am canonically a clone of myself that died several hundred times before I even did training. Like, there's no way to know what number I am. We have lost track of how many versions of my character exist, or even if they're...
I left it on random because it was hilarious to me. Like, coming back with a different like voice every time. Freedom!
Yeah, I appreciate that like all choices in the game serve the narrative. I think this is the live service game, like the evolution of the live service game. Like, say about 10 years ago, we were able to take like a Destiny type deal, which was an offshoot of like World of Warcraft. And now we've kind of soured on that live service game. And I think we've now stumbled upon the actual new live service game, which is a live service living game. Everything that happens is telling of the player base. And my favorite bit, I don't know if you've noticed so players don't like fighting the automatons, because the automatons force us to use the rest of our kit.
Yes, we're talking about the drama.
Yes, so we don't like fighting automatons. So automatons, for people who are listening, are essentially
communist scum.
Communist scum. They're also robots, not unlike Terminators from the Terminator movie. So they're like, let's say Terminator robots, but without the Skynet, as far as we know. And we don't fight them. Like, the percentage of players who prefer to fight bugs rather than robots is substantial, because
so first off, they shoot back.
We have all the kit in the world to negate everything they do. It just is not indiscriminately blowing them up. It's just, we have all the tools necessary to deal with automatons rather easily if we would just communicate and stop blowing everything up.
I found that sentries are very effective. There's even a sentry that puts in a mobilization field, and when you combine that with a mortar sentry,
right? Yes,
it's great. It's good times.
The best way to deal with a lot of automatons is to not let them see you at all. So, like, if you don't,
honey, we don't do here.
I understand, but that's my point. Is the best way to defeat automatons is actually quietly. And you can actually sneak and do several objectives without being seen. Several objectives, and 8-9 objectives in a row without being seen at all by really anything.
It's really funny.
Right. But because no one wants to do that, and everyone wants to exercise as much democracy as possible and blow up as many things as possible, we don't like fighting automatons. But now, canonically, like in the map, because essentially you're fighting a war, an ongoing war. You can see the percentages of planets that are under bug control, under robot control, under your control.
We have to liberate the galaxy.
Right. And what's happening is the automatons are winning and taking over more planets because we do not want to fight them, because we do not like to think while we're playing. We do not want to communicate, and we do not want to think. And the robots are getting continuous footholds all over the galaxy because we refuse to fight them as much as the bugs, because they're not as much fun, because we can't indiscriminately blow them up. And that is live service right there. That is live service.
Okay, it gets funnier. It gets so much funnier.
Well, find the microphone first before you start your story. Okay.
Sorry, I had to plug a thing. So the Reddit forums for Helldivers 2. I don't do Reddit, but one of my Helldivers friends has put me onto this. Actually, it's a Final Fantasy friend who I spread managed democracy with. One of my fellow Helldivers has put me onto the Reddit board factions. So I've been perusing there. It's fucking hysterical. There are 3 major factions within the Helldivers community right now. There are, we just want to have fun and blow up bugs.
Yes.
There are team objectives.
Yes.
Because when we liberate planets and we meet the objectives that are set out for us, all players get medals, and they can use those medals for bonuses to get more stuff.
Yes, I'm team objectives. Please continue.
I'm also team objectives. I feel like the best way to promote managed democracy is to spread the words of freedom and democracy everywhere instead of just focusing on one place. So, yes, that is satire. We're joking here. So the third faction, there's a planet that I believe it's an automaton planet. Okay, I don't remember if it's a bug planet or an automaton planet, but there's a planet that has been fought over for a very long time, to the point where people were and we have only just been able to liberate that planet since the beginning of the game, since even before the beginning of this game. And it has turned into, some folks, as one of my friends puts it, Vietnam.
Yes.
They are just in there. And they will not leave until that planet is liberated. They keep fighting on that planet to liberate that planet, because they've been working so hard to liberate that planet, and they just do not want to give, which means they are also ignoring the objectives.
Yeah.
And that faction, I believe, is called the Creekers.
Oh, it's Malevion Creek, right? They haven't left Malevion Creek.
They have not left Malevion Creek. Well, they have now, because we've liberated it.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
But yes, Malevion Creek is the planet that they have not been wanting to leave.
Yes.
So they're called Creekers. And so there have been several objectives that have not been met several weeks in a row, due to a team, we're just having fun blowing up bugs, and team Creekers. So some very salty players who are team objective have been booting players who they think are Creekers from their parties. And why? How can they tell? Well, you see, there's actually a certain cape that a lot of Creekers were celebrating with and were wearing, and it's one of the early capes that you can unlock. And so they've just been booting anybody who has that cape.
That is awful.
It's so funny. I'm sitting here, I'm like, listen, there is a study to be done here, because again, this is simulating a war effort.
Listen, it's like this is the live service, the story. We are all a part of it. We are arguing about it. It is causing problems, strife.
People are very upset.
They're very upset about this. They'd like to, and to be clear, I get it. Like, I would, because we all get war bonds from this, and this is all lets us all get things. So, like, please let us all get things. Help us all get stuff. I get it. Please, guys. So I understand. I have skin in the game.
Yeah, no, I also have skin in the. I too would like war bonds.
Yeah.
Please, some war bonds. I also like just standing on the ship talking to the NPC sometimes. One of them was like, they were talking about the bugs, and they're like, sometimes I feel really bad for the enemies that we have to kill while spreading managed democracy. And I'm like, is this person going to do a thought crime? And then they're like, and then their response, they go, they just like, can you imagine just like waking up and being told what you have to do and how to think and how to believe? That has to be that's sad. And I'm like, wait, okay, we're there. It's fine.
Oh my goodness.
It's so funny. Like, can you just imagine waking up and being told what you have to do and what you have to think? How to exist? That's really sad.
Oh my god, it's so tongue-in-cheek and so perfect.
It could not be more tongue-in-cheek.
It's just so perfect.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
It is perfect. It is perfect in a way, and I am absolutely tickled by how perfect it is. I think the player engagement is what pushed it over the edge. Like, I think it's fine, and it would have been fine because Helldivers 1 was fine. The player engagement is what's pushing this over the edge. It's what's setting the tone of absolute live service LARPing perfection across the board. And this is all part of the game. Every single thing that you engage with in the game is part of the story of the game, whether it's a personal story or the overarching game story. And I deeply appreciate this. Do you remember? I don't know if you weren't here for this. So what would happen is when you would get on a server and you were actually like not meta, air quotes. What people would do is they would take all the samples and run off the border of the stage, because you could kill them and take the samples yourself. But if they took it off the border of the stage, have you ever seen what happens when you leave the borders? You're considered a traitor and you just get bombed.
Yes.
Yes, and you can't actually continue to play. You actually, if you're considered a deserter, you're considered a traitor, and they will kill you. Now, for the record, I will maintain that is a strategy. By the way, I've done this before where I've actually been a traitor, and will run, as you will get bombed indiscriminately, and everything around you will get bombed. It is a permanent artillery strike on your location until you are killed. And if you keep running, you can actually run through large chunks of enemies, and they will all be killed. And apparently, the best artillery strike is desertion, and I maintain that you will die at some point, but you can take a lot of enemies with you. But they were taking it and leaving the stage and getting killed off the stage where none of the samples could be recovered. Samples, for those who don't know, are there are pickups in the level that allow you to level up, to create overarching chip enhancements that give your character like permanent buffs, lower cooldowns, more precision on airstrikes, more health, more ammo, things like that.
My samples are filled with liberty.
Thank you, Megan.
It's like my favorite voice line.
It's a phenomenal gaming experience. I'm pleased that I need to get back on it because I haven't played it in several weeks. But I will get back on and play with you. Are you just playing with the homie, or are you playing with like other people?
I'm playing with any homie who wants to play.
Oh, okay, cool. I will also play Helldivers with you.
I'll actually play it by myself, like very much. Like I'll do like some matches by myself just to be like, how do I hit buttons again? But I usually play it with other people, and like the disclaimer is I'm bad. There's a reason I go with sentries. I don't have to aim with sentries.
Do you have oh, you don't have, do you have access to the shotgun? The rapid fire shotgun. That takes a lot of the pressure of aiming off of you. You have to
I don't know if it's a rapid fire shotgun, but I do have a shotty.
Okay, there's a rapid fire shotgun that takes the pressure of aiming off of you. It's been nerfed a little bit, but it's still a very, very strong weapon. So yeah, you might need that because there's a lot of spam weapons in the game, so you can definitely spam comfortably and safely.
Oh, yeah, I have a shotgun and I have a machine gun. And then I have turrets. And I just hit level 10. I'm a baby. So I just hit level 10 and I can have Rover. I can have a puppy now. So I don't need to aim at all.
Make sure you if I remember correctly, there is a way you can move with Rover, because if you're moving correctly with Rover, you will absolutely laser your teammates in the ass cheeks.
That's fine.
No, that's not fine. You see, we don't want to get so there's a way you can move around your teammates where the Rover is always on your right and always shooting to the right side of the screen. It spares your teammates getting lasered in the ass, you see, because you don't want to laser your teammates in the ass.
Listen, Aaron.
You don't want to laser them in the butt.
I have mortars. I have a mortar sentry.
Yes, you also do not want to mortar your teammates or yourself. There are several things, like, or you do, like, it's part of the game. So, you don't, but you kind of do. It's part of the ongoing narrative of the game. All right. So now we will be able to discuss Helldivers. We need to play Helldivers. That will be extremely amusing. You have 47 games you're playing. I'm going to recommend 2 more. There is a game called, let me make sure I have the name correct 100%. Because if I get this wrong, then everyone will be looking up Terraria, which we all know.
I do love Terraria.
We do love Terraria, right? But I need people to be looking at the right game. There's a game called Terra Memoria. It plays very much like Grandia. Very much a lot of animals, a lot of animal people, a lot of brown people, a lot of cooking, a lot of farming. Very cozy, very chill.
Sounds like my game.
It is designed as such, especially if you're playing Helldivers. We will say that Terra Memoria is the opposite of Helldivers in every way that is necessary if you are playing a lot of Helldivers. Absolutely think you would enjoy it. And that game is not free, but the game is $20. So at some point, we will probably get that for you as an Unreasonable Fridays community. And then there is Lightyear Frontier, which is the farming survival game where you play as a farmer in a mech, and you have to farm the land. You have to farm the land back to where it was. A farmer and his robot. You can even sleep inside your robot, which is nice. I think you would like farming as a mech, Bacon. That is on Game Pass. That game costs you whatever it is that you are paying for Game Pass. So I think that would work for you.
I'm here for it. Sorry, I got an email from my instructor, and my head just went on a swivel.
Oh, school stuff.
Yeah, so spring quarter just started. It's my first week.
Oh, you're back in classes.
I'm back in class. I'm doing English 102, Health and Human Sexuality, and yoga.
Yoga?
Yes. I needed 3 credits.
What does yoga entail, may I ask? Say that one more time.
Watching a video and answering questions.
Oh, so you don't have to do any yoga.
I do have to do some, but like I already talked with her about it and it's fine. I'm not exactly sure how the lab is structured, but I will find out this weekend.
I will see if my college offers yoga because I wouldn't mind it because I need to. My torso doesn't torso the way other people's torsos torso because my spine stopped spining years ago. It's trash. All of it. So I would actually consider taking that. But
stretching is wildly good for your body.
Yeah.
Wildly good. Because of the CFS, I can't do regular exercise. And I can't do some yoga stuff because my body just doesn't do that kind of moving anymore without major nerve issues. But there's some stuff I can do that's very low key. And there's like some modification stuff that you can do like in your chair, which is really nice for like the back stretchies. I actually do more Pilates because a lot of Pilates is hold your body in this position. For 30 seconds to a minute. And then I'd take a nap. Yoga, like I know that sounds like yoga, but it's not like yoga.
Oh no, I understand completely. No, I do. I understand completely. That's
like hold yourself against a wall with your forearms on the wall and just stand there.
Right. I get it. Pilates is infinitely more manageable than yoga, so I totally understand.
I do a lot of Pilates stuff.
Right.
It's great. It works well with my CFS. Yoga less does, but yoga is also very helpful because stretching is very good for you. And stretching is even more important as you get older. Like, if you can't do any exercise, do at least stretching. Also, remember to turn your neck right and left. Turn your neck. We always look forward. We need to look other directions. Turn your neck.
All right. I'm not gonna lie. I've always thought about. I always wonder whether we should incorporate like a moment of stretching, like in the beginning of the podcast, reminding everyone to stretch your limbs and look left and right. Even though you're listening or you're watching, you can stand to stretch, and that's like a general like that's a positive thing we can offer is to stretch. Just stretch.
If we remember, we're so ADHD, we can't remember to do these things.
I can make a note. I got stretching and then I immediately yawn because
I was gonna say Aaron just immediately yawned.
I immediately go to bed. I stretch a little bit and now I'm ready to go to sleep. Is there anything what?
I like because of the chronic pain and stuff, I just like stretch like arbitrarily all day. Like I'm always my body in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Just since the chronic pain, I'm just like, oh, and now we're just gonna stretch this way, and now we're gonna stretch this way. I'm stretching literally all day. It's one thing I have to like always tell my doctors. They're just like, well, this doesn't seem to be an issue, and I'm like, okay, I need you to understand. I stretch all the time.
Right.
There's a reason I have more flexibility right now than you're thinking I do because I stretch all the time. It would be so much worse if I did stretch. Literally stretch for pain management.
Well, I'm trying to see also there's one more game that doesn't apply to anyone. There's a game called Rebel Transmute. It's like Metroid, but but you're playing as a black. You're playing as where Samus. You're playing as a black lady looking for her mother who went off to a planet. And we didn't hear from her, so everyone assumes that she died. But you're going to find out, right? You're playing as a black lady looking for her black mama. And I'm like, I think this is enough, but I haven't played it enough. The game was like very, very cheap, but it was very cool. And also, I'm reminded now as we are beginning to wrap up that we should talk about X-Men. Did you watch X-Men?
I haven't seen shit.
So you should watch X-Men. It has several things you'd like. Several bits of nuance that you would enjoy. And you're not under the gun, as you were never under the gun to watch television. But
I did talk to fan and friend of the show, Mr. Jarrett, and I have gotten the lowdown on the new X-Men animated, and listen, I am here for it. I want to watch it. Will I watch it is a totally different story. The will is there.
I mean, do you need
but will I?
Do you need like a watch?
Actually, much different.
Do you need like a watch party or something? Do you need like a watch party setting with which to watch it? Like to have a screen that already has it on in front of you for you to sit and watch it?
Maybe I've just been like having a hard time focusing on video related content.
100%. Focuses.
So
focus.
it's just like really hard to pay attention.
Oh no, I understand completely. Would it help if we watched it at a different pace? Like I think if we can, because I get it. Like focus issues are real. So, but it is.
The ever since like the brain fog started kicking in, like it's been so bad. Like I just
right, and you use all of your focus attention points on schoolwork. Full stop. Like if your focus, if you have it, then you use it there, right?
School and games.
Right. Okay, we'll see if there's specifically. I think X-Men would work for you. So we're gonna try and see if we can shoehorn it into your existence somehow. If we can get a passive way where you can watch it piecemeal without having to be under the gun, including being able to rewind it if you were like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't trash it. The freedom to be like, I'm going to rewind this shit. Because I personally don't care if you need to rewind it and you can watch it over again.
I'm just like, wait, what happened?
Who is this?
What?
One of the things, one of the benefits of the show is that it's paced so quickly that there's no downtime. So if it can hook you, you'll be able to ride the wave until the credits roll, and then they just dump you off on the sidewalk unceremoniously. And that's every episode is like that because it's a show that's very well aware. We've been reading X-Men comics for 30 years, so they don't linger at all in any way. There's no like, how are they going to interpret this narrative? It's like the narrative is here, and like the 10 issue arc is over in 30 minutes in a really interesting, satisfying way. And then they move on to the next. They're motoring through X-Men mythos, flying through X-Men mythos, full speed, because we're all familiar with it. So, I think the pace of the show might be suited to you. But again, we'll see what happens, because like I said, we don't do a lot of TV here for the reasons you've heard. So we will see if we can get this one past the goalie, because I really would like your opinion on this particular show. And it has one of the few characters that is queer in the way that Bacon describes me. Wolverine is queer in that show in the way that Bacon describes me, and I've never seen it anywhere.
We'll talk about gender if you give me $9.99 a month.
Right, and it's just like it's a very dismissal of gender norms. It's like there is absolutely no reason why there is there is no reason why my non-binary homie can see me in the shower. Like, if we're talking and I'm going into the shower and you go into the shower after, like, listen, I'm just not worried about it. His best friend in the team is Morph, who's non-binary in the show. And it's just like, it's clear that Morph spends so much of their time flirting with Wolverine, and Wolverine is so cute in response, and is absolutely no brushing aside of it. But it's not met with the exact same energy, but it's met with good positive energy. And it's just like, and it's the subtlety of it. I rarely see that bit. So it's like, it's kind of cool. So it's kind of cool. But again, what?
It's, I call it, what do I call it? I call it flirting with nothing behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that would be the best way to put it. It's almost like there's a non-zero chance that something's on the table, but we don't need to make it. And that's just generally how I am with everybody. So I just don't. So it's like Wolverine just comes off as a bit of a tart, less than any one way or the other, and that's cool. Like I think that's just because that's Wolverine. He's hundreds of years old. Like it's after, like I'm gonna level with you. After about 95 years of being 35, gender and sexuality, I don't care. I don't care. I've been 35 for 70 years. I'm 121. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't know when I'm gonna die. You're worried about this, that, and a third. I don't care. Like I said, whatever makes you feel better is what makes you feel better. I don't care. I'm 40 and I feel like that. God forbid I'm 120 years old. Extra don't care. You seem nice. This is fine. You seem nice. This'll do.
Just so. Like, I don't, what's your gender? Like, oh, can you, like, I don't, that's a conversation. Please subscribe.
Yeah, that's, I don't
subscribe for that conversation, please.
Oh my God. Yeah, like, that is, the gender thing. Like Erica points it out all the time that I just like flee from rooms full of boys now. We went to like,
very funny.
We will visit like certain places and it'll be like boy energy. Like we went to a comic shop and it was just like a Magic the Gathering thing. And it was like 15 boys just sitting there playing cards. And when Erica walked, it was boys because Erica walked in and they were all just like, like a Metal Gear Solid, the exclamation point.
Pretty person.
And I was like, oh, I have to get out of here. I was like, oh, this isn't like some places you go, it's like a bunch of different types of people playing games or playing cards or whatever. No, like this is not one of those places. It's like I gotta get out. This is boys wall to wall. I don't want to hear about what's wrong with Marvel. I don't want to hear about token this. I don't want to talk about why is this character a woman. I don't want to have any of these conversations. I will beat all of you about the head and shoulders. I'm bigger than all of you. It will end in violence. I'll go. And that's just how I've become. Again, X-Men 97, Wolverine's like that. It's pretty cool. We'll see if we can get you to watch it. Constant rewinds, one episode at a time. Perfect. Is there anything you would like to add before we wrap this up and send you on your merry way?
Patreon. Subscribe to our Patreon.
That's patreon.com/UN Fridays. That's patreon.com/UN Fridays. And yeah, I think we've nailed it. I think we did it. Another episode. Excellent work. I'll leave you to your instructor, your emails, school, underground trolls, and just generally being very handsome with your fresh haircut. We love to see it. The fresh haircut noise?
Yes. Okay. I had to get a fresh haircut because I've been applying places and I can't, if I get an interview, I can't have an interview with my head looking like a mess.
That's a fair point. You have a very good point.
It doesn't work. I have to look like a semi-professional Negro.
The yawn is like the gong, by the way. Once you yawn, we gotta start shutting it down. So we're shutting it down.
Oh yeah, that's the medication. I'm not even sleepy.
Listen, it doesn't matter. The wheels might come off now. That's all. So wheels start wobbling. That's all I'm saying. You might be able to go for an hour or 20 minutes or 4. I don't know.
Oh, it's awful. It's just a time release medication, and I can always tell when it's releasing because then I start yawning.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, drugs, thanks. It's just a side effect. Like it doesn't do anything else like side effecty. It's just makes me extremely drowsy.
Well, I will leave you to your drowsy existence. Thank you. Thank you guys for listening, and see you next week, and have a pleasant day.